Have you ever wondered how those delectable, salty pretzels are made? Today, we pull back the curtain on this culinary mystery, peering into the process that crafts these twisted treats. Our journey will take us from the humble origins of basic ingredients, through the precise art of mixing and shaping, all the way to the final, satisfying crunch of a freshly baked pretzel. So, if your curiosity is piqued, buckle up. Stay tuned to learn about the process that turns simple ingredients into delicious salted pretzels. Before we dive into the making, did you know that pretzels have a rich history dating back to the 7th century? Indeed, the humble pretzel is steeped in centuries of tradition and symbolism. Originating from the monasteries of Europe, it is believed that monks invented the pretzel as a reward for children who learned their prayers. The unique twisted knot shape represented the crossed arms of praying children. The pretzel quickly became more than just a tasty treat. In the Middle Ages, it held religious significance and was often used in Christian rituals. The 3 holes represented the Holy Trinity: the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. It was also considered a symbol of good luck, prosperity, and spiritual wholeness. As centuries rolled on, the pretzel began its journey across the globe. In the 17th century, it found its way to America with the arrival of German immigrants, often referred to as the Pennsylvania Dutch. They brought their pretzel recipes along, and the snack quickly gained popularity. Fast forward to the 19th century, the first commercial pretzel bakery was established in the United States by Julius Sturgis in Lidditz, Pennsylvania. This marked a significant turning point in pretzel history, as it paved the way for mass production and widespread distribution. Throughout the 20th century, the pretzel continued to evolve. From the traditional soft pretzel, the world saw the introduction of the hard pretzel, a crispier, longer-lasting snack. Later, flavors and toppings ranging from sweet cinnamon sugar to savory garlic and cheese began to appear, further expanding the pretzel's appeal. Today, pretzels come in all shapes and sizes, from the traditional twisted knot to pretzel sticks and pretzel buns. They're a staple at sporting events, a favorite at festivals, and even celebrated with their own national day on April 26th. The pretzel's journey from a monastic reward to an international snack sensation is truly fascinating. Its rich history is a testament to its timeless appeal and its ability to adapt and evolve. Now, with the history behind us, it's time to roll up our sleeves and start baking. For any recipe to be successful, we need the right ingredients. Let's start with the heart of the pretzel, the dough. We'll need 4 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of sugar, and 1 package of active dry yeast. These will be the building blocks of our pretzels. To give our dough the perfect consistency, we're going to need 1½ cups of warm water. It's just the right amount to make our dough pliable but not too sticky. Now for the signature pretzel flavor, we'll need to create a baking soda bath. This will require 4 cups of water and ½ a cup of baking soda. And of course, we can't forget the star of the show, the salt. We'll need 2 tablespoons of coarse sea salt to sprinkle on top of our pretzels just before baking. With our ingredients ready, we can begin the process of making our salted pretzels. The first step in making our pretzels is to prepare the dough. And as with any culinary endeavor, the magic truly begins when we start combining our ingredients. Let's kick things off with the yeast. This little ingredient is a crucial player in our dough-making process. It's the yeast that's going to make our dough rise and give our pretzels that soft, fluffy interior we all know and love. We'll start by dissolving it in warm water. The temperature is key here, folks. Too hot, and you risk killing the yeast. Too cold, and it won't activate properly. Aim for a temperature that feels like a cozy bath. Next, we add in our sugar and salt. These aren't just for taste. They also play a role in how our dough behaves. The sugar feeds our yeast, giving it the energy it needs to do its job, while the salt strengthens the dough's gluten structure, giving our pretzels their satisfying chew. Now, the flour, the backbone of our dough. We're using bread flour here, which has a higher protein content than all-purpose flour, giving our pretzels a delightfully chewy texture. We'll gradually add this to our yeast mixture, mixing until a dough begins to form. And finally, the unsung hero of dough making, time. Once we've mixed everything together, we're going to let our dough rest. This is when the yeast does its work, consuming the sugar and releasing carbon dioxide gas, causing the dough to rise. It's a crucial step and not one to be rushed. Now we knead. This process not only shapes our dough but also aligns the gluten strands, ensuring our pretzels will have the right texture. The dough will be smooth, elastic, and slightly tacky to the touch when it's ready. With our dough ready, we are one step closer to our delicious salted pretzels. The aroma of the yeast and flour mingling together is a promise of the savory goodness that's soon to come. So let's keep going, shall we? The journey to pretzel perfection is just getting started. The unique shape of a pretzel is what sets it apart. Now that we have our smooth and elastic dough, it's time to transform these humble blobs into the distinctive pretzel shape that everyone knows and loves. The process is almost like an art form, and getting it right is crucial for the perfect pretzel. First, you'll want to take a small portion of your dough, about the size of a golf ball, and roll it out on a clean, lightly floured surface. The goal here is to create a long, thin rope of dough, about 18 inches in length and half an inch in thickness. Take your time with this step, ensuring a consistent thickness throughout the rope. Once you've achieved the desired length and thickness, it's time to form the pretzel shape. Lay the rope in a U shape on your surface, with the ends pointing towards you. Now, cross the ends over each other, creating a complete loop at the top. Twist the ends one more time and then fold them down to meet the bottom of the U, pressing them into place. And voila, you have a perfectly shaped pretzel. But why this particular shape, you may wonder? Well, legend has it that pretzels were created by a monk who designed them to resemble arms crossing over the chest in prayer. Whether or not that's true, there's no denying that this unique shape gives the pretzel its signature look and texture. It's important to remember that while shaping, the dough should remain soft and pliable. If it begins to stiffen, simply cover it with a damp cloth and let it rest for a few minutes before continuing. This will help keep the dough easy to work with and prevent it from tearing. As you shape each pretzel, place it on a lined baking sheet, leaving ample space between each one to allow for expansion during baking. This shaping process may take a bit of practice, but with patience and persistence, you'll soon be twisting pretzels like a pro. Our pretzels are now taking shape and are ready for the next step. Now comes the exciting part, baking and salting. Let's dive into the world of hot ovens and crunchy salt crystals. This is where our doughy creations transform into golden, mouth-watering pretzels. First off, we need to preheat our oven. The temperature is key. Most pretzel recipes call for an oven temperature of around 450 degrees Fahrenheit. This high heat ensures a quick baking time, allowing the outside of the pretzel to become crisp, while the inside remains soft and chewy. While our oven is preheating, it's time to prepare our pretzels for baking. An egg wash, which is simply a beaten egg mixed with a splash of water, is brushed onto each pretzel. This step is what gives pretzels their distinctive, shiny, golden brown crust. Now let's talk about the baking time. This is crucial. Overbake them, and they become too hard. Underbake them, and they'll be doughy. The ideal baking time for pretzels is usually around 12 to 15 minutes. But remember, every oven is different, so keep a close eye on them during the first few times you bake. Once our pretzels have achieved that perfect golden brown color, it's time for the final and arguably most important step, the salting. The key to salting pretzels is to do it while they're still hot out of the oven. This is when they're most receptive to the salt, allowing it to stick to the crust. Sprinkle coarse sea salt generously over each pretzel. The salt not only adds flavor but also provides a delightful crunch with each bite. Remember, the amount of salt is entirely up to you. Some prefer a heavy-handed sprinkle, while others favor a lighter touch. The choice is all yours, and there you have it. Your delicious, warm, and salty pretzels are ready to be enjoyed. The aroma of freshly baked pretzels, the crunch of the salt, and the soft, chewy inside make this a treat worth all the effort. The next time you take a bite of a pretzel, you'll appreciate the art and science that goes into making this iconic snack. Enjoy! Let's quickly recap the process of making salted pretzels. We started with gathering our ingredients, then moved on to mixing the dough. Once the dough was ready, we shaped it into pretzels, an art in itself. The final step was baking these shaped treats and sprinkling them with salt while still warm. And voila, you have your homemade salted pretzels. Each step is important, so don't rush the process. Remember, practice makes perfect. So get baking and enjoy your homemade salted pretzels.